All right, what's up? What's up? Y'all hear me? Some reason YouTube changed some settings and stream keys out of the blue. I know I haven't podcasted this whole week, so I haven't been doing much stuff live. So I don't know if everything got updated automatically. But I noticed some things changed and I didn't plan on it. So I want to know, can y'all hear me, please? If we're good. Uh-oh. I don't think you guys are responding. Fuck. Okay, so far, alright. Woo! You got me nervous. Oh, snap. Oh, you got me nervous. Woo! For a minute. Alright, good. Alright, we good. Alright. Alright, good. Appreciate it. It's weird. So I clicked live on my OBS and nothing was happening. I'm like, what the hell? So then I noticed the stream key changed on my YouTube channel. I don't know why they do that. It's annoying. And Discord, for whatever reason, is not booting up. It's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Now I can see if people have these types of issues with PC gaming where you could just turn on your PC and nothing works while gaming, then I could see why that would be frustrating for a lot of gamers. You know what I'm saying? Because that's frustrating. When you have to start troubleshooting, I mean, even if it's easy, right? Even if it's not difficult, but it is annoying. Because sometimes you just want something to work. You just turn the thing on and it just works. That's it, you know? But given that it's Windows, I don't care which version of Windows. Windows always been a crappy operating system. It's just that it's so popular that everything goes to Windows, and that's the one thing everybody uses. So I think it is. Oh, snap. Shout out to Noriko with the $20 super chat. I appreciate it, Noriko. Thank you so much. I noticed you don't make any comments, so hey, I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. But like anything else, if you have a comment, whatever, I'm more than happy to talk about it. But I really appreciate everybody rocking out. I understand last minute somebody asked if Optimus Code was gonna be on here. Well, right now doesn't look like it, even if I was able to, because this Discord is trash right now, and that's how we would normally communicate. But this was a last minute thing, it's Saturday. I just thought of, let me do a solo live thing. It's probably easier. Everybody's doing stuff on the weekend and stuff like that. So I just thought, let me catch up. Apologize, I didn't have a podcast this week. Just started Truth Hurts. All right, so you're not late. We just kicking it. We just kicking it right now. So do me a favor, hit the like button. Spread this out through your social media platform, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you do, wherever your homies are at, wherever your people's at. And whatchamacallit, and spread the news and stuff, because we're going to talk about some topics today that I want to cover in a cool environment, and I'll just give you my thoughts and notes. It won't be simply just repeating the news. It's giving you my thoughts behind the news, and it could help. Maybe I could help guide the conversations happening on Twitter, because I'm seeing some conversations on Twitter, and like normal, it's like, man, a lot of people are losing the plot. Absolute MMA, thank you for the super chat. Truly appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for supporting everything. My man said message retracted, so I don't know what you were going to say. But thank you for rocking out, man. So who up here? So again, who we got up in here that's kicking off early? Of course, Logical Nonsense. Moby was kicking it off already in the room. And then we got Asaf up in here. Dark Link, SS9, Lay, The Gummy, 55, Wendigo. Thank you for showing up. Truly appreciate it. Terry Henderson, what's up? Sneaky Snake. Edwards, what is it? Duran Edwards, appreciate it. What is it? Villain Skyen, what's up? AC, who else we got? SameU.com. A1 Pony First Class, what's good? Tekken God, what's up? Glorious War. Of course, Noriko, thank you for the super chat. Did you name yourself after the character in Heavenly Sword? Great game, man. I wish that would come back. Game Now, Derpy, what's up? Gaming Addict, what's good? Thank you for rocking out. Vedger, Truth Hurts, Immortal Black, Guns, Franco Tech, Ike, mano. Wepa, what's up? Cryptopathy, Absolute MMA. What about Machine Learn? Fucking Gaming Addict. What else I got? Savage Jr. Saif or Saif. Is it Saif Sudani? Hope I pronounced it right. Hey there, watching from Tunisia. Wow. Appreciate it. Oh boy, I made it. I reached Tunisia. That's what's up. Welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy the live stream. Only the illest. You know, so we rocking out. We got people up in here. You know, just please, if you could do me a favor, hit that like button because it helps trend the video out there. And then when you get the chance, spread the tweet out and let people know. So well, let's see. We're gonna start off with this. Chris Jones was good. Let me talk with some graphics up in here. There we go. So we got right here. We got Zuhei right here. From MPD, if everybody's familiar with MPD, MPD is a global marketing brand, right? But when we get the things for gaming, the free information that they publicly reveal is specifically for the US. So that's the free information. They do collect data worldwide, but you have to pay for that. And we're talking thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. Most of the people who pay for that are the companies themselves. You know, they contract, MPD to get this data, and that's how MPD makes his money, to help with marketing research, marketing trends around the globe. But for free, MPD releases small bits of information, in particular to the US. So as you can see here, PS5 had the biggest launch month for any console in the US, beating the previous record holder, which was the PS4. The Switch was the top-selling console in November due to high demand and sufficient supply. The Xbox Series XS debuted lower than the Xbox One. So what does that mean? What is the conversation we got here? So number one, let's talk about Switch. Nintendo did a phenomenal job creating the Switch Lite because that's when sales really took off. Because I think the Switch Lite is really what people really wanted from the Switch. Sure, the Switch, great concept about, converting from home play to on the go back to home play by a docking station. But I think when it really came down to it and people had the product in their hands, the real thing that they loved is the fact that it was mobile and they could play on the go. They could play on the bed, wherever they at. And I think more people play Switch as a handheld than they do on their TV docked. Maybe, when families come over and they play party games. But for the most part, people are playing it in this portable mode. And with that, Nintendo did a great move and created a variation where it's only mobile, So technically, even though it's named the Switch, it's not really a Switch because you're not switching anything. Even though they call it the Switch Lite, it's pretty much just a handheld like any other handheld. But it's very popular and it's $200, and that's what most people are going after, right? So smart move. Nintendo did a great job supporting it with exclusives because that's very important. Nintendo didn't try to go after the third party or try to do anything. Even though there are some third party on the Switch, and I think most people are cool playing it on the Switch simply because it's portable. So like The Witcher 3, Doom, while graphically it looks terrible, the fact that they could take it on the go is fine with them. And when you're playing on a small screen, graphics doesn't really matter. It's not like you're playing it on a 55-inch screen, OLED, and whatever stuff, right? So great job with Nintendo. Nintendo's doing this thing, and they're doing a great things with its console. Now, as far as kicking off next gen though, right? And this is where the real fight is. Right? Because the real fight is all about the next gen and how you establish a foothold. So right off the gate, PlayStation 5, in the US, all right, set the new record for console launch on how many consoles is sold and in unit dollar sales. And what they mean by unit dollar sales is the price, right? The cumulative price when all the consoles are sold, how much money did a console sale earned, right? And MPD said for the month of November, PlayStation 5 set the new record for launch sales, which was previously held by the PlayStation 4. So what that means is the PlayStation 5 surpassed PS4 sales. So what you could do is you go to Google, right? And you look back, how many console sales did PS4 have November 2013, right? And then you look at that number, well, the PS5 is bigger. Maybe in a couple of weeks, Sony will tell us what the number is. I would imagine by the end of the year. So I would imagine January, Sony will talk about how well PlayStation 5 sold overall around the globe, ending in December, ending that quarter. So we will see those numbers, right? But for now, all you gotta do is type in, November 2020, PS4 NPD sale, something like that, right? And it's gonna tell you, PlayStation 4 sold this amount of consoles at November NPD in 2013. Well, PS5 is bigger, right? And then obviously with the console, with some of the majority of the console sales selling at $499, which is $100 more than the PS4, obviously the total dollar value is gonna be bigger as well. So PS4 just completely dominated from that perspective. Okay, not surprising. I said that if the PS5 was $499 and $399, that's a great combo price and it's gonna sell. I've been saying that this console's given that feeling of the PlayStation 2 gen. If most of you was around, if some of you was around during that gen at launch, in 2000 in America with PlayStation 2, there was just a fever to get that console from everybody. And everybody was trying to find one. It got to the point where some stores that had the PlayStation 2, you couldn't just buy the console. You had to buy a bundle of other accessories. That means the store would say, if you want a PlayStation 2, you have to buy X amount of games or controller, whatever combination. And I was part of that. When I went and bought the PlayStation 2, there was 3 left, but they wouldn't just sell the PlayStation 2. I had to buy 3 games, a controller, and a memory card. And I was like, oh, man. And they didn't have a lot of selection of games at that store. So I had to buy whatever they had. So I said, give me these 3 games. Let me get the controller. Let me get the memory card. The controller and memory card, I was going to buy anyway. So that's why it didn't bother me, right? I usually always buy a second controller. And at that time, you needed memory cards to save your game. So that really didn't bother me. What bothered me was I had to buy 3 games. And there wasn't, and the store itself didn't have all the selections of games that launched with it. Right? It came down to that I had to buy a racing game, which really pissed me off because I hate racing games, but I had to buy one because it was the only way to get, 3 games. So that was the only thing that annoyed me. But other than that, PS5 is giving that same feeling, right? Even now, the media, the market share. I don't know if some of you saw the Saturday Night Live skit. The skit was about, if you remember the Eminem video, Stan, whatever. Well, same skit, but with Santa Claus. And it was all about trying to get the PS5. And then at the end of the Saturday Night Live skit, you actually see Eminem. And he's like, ooh, a PS5. That's huge. Because Stu, yeah. So look up Saturday Night Live Stu. And you'll see what I'm talking about. When you start seeing major programming, like Saturday Night Live talking about the PS5. And soon you see like Good Morning America. It's now capturing the fattish, how would you say, mainstream population. It's catching the attention of people who normally don't really follow PlayStation. It's capturing the audience that they'll get the stuff because it's the hot item, it's the heat of the moment, and when people see it, they'll be like, it's either they're gonna get it for themselves, but really they're gonna be like, man, that looks like a great gift for this person who I know likes video games. And that's why this is happening. So people are looking at PlayStation 5 and be like, man, my nephew loves video games. I'm going to get him a PS5. Man, my best friend, my goddaughter, godson, people are seeing this. And they're thinking, well, this is a gaming, product. I know people who games. This is the gift I need to get them, right? And what's crazy is the harder it is to get the product, the more people will get it. Because it's like telling people you can't have it, right? And that right there gets people be like, oh, I'm going to get it and I'm going to be part of the club that's got a PS5. And that's what's happening. The harder it is to get a PS5, the more it makes people want to get a PS5 so they could be part of the club of, oh, I got a PS5 when most people don't. And that's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The Ruhan, thank you for the support. Super chat $20. Pete Rock, what's good? Chilling, brother. I hope everything's good with you. And I hope you're enjoying everything. I hope everybody's here is having a great weekend. Hit the like button. Right? So with that, there's a huge momentum. I told you PlayStation 5 was going to outsell Xbox. Some people are out here with the Xbox Series X, with the Xbox Series S, simply saying because it was $300, it was going to outsell the PS5. People out here was like, can I get a Lockhart, please? Ain't nobody saying, can I get a Lockhart, please? Ain't nobody doing that, right? So I say this a million times, so let me say it again as the professor. And this time y'all need to listen, because now the results are in. PlayStation sold more than Xbox. So here's the reason why. All right. It is not. My man said, "Bro, we only you talking to me?" Somebody says we only know you play 2K. Actually, I hardly play 2K. If you look at my PSN, right? But anyway, maybe it wasn't me. But I hardly play sports games over because it's always been the same thing. Not as much as I used to. You better check my PSN ID, son. Porter Rock 77. Boy, you better know who you talking to. But anyway, right? People think simply on the merit of, well, the console's a cheap price, it's gonna sell. It doesn't work that way. Just because it's a low price doesn't mean people are just gonna buy it because it's a low price. Okay, that's not it. You're only telling half the story, right? Because if that was the case, why didn't the Wii U outsell the PS4 and the Xbox One when the Wii U was $350? It launched at $350 in 2012. Nobody was really buying it. Okay? And then when the PS4 launched at $400 and the Xbox One launched at $500, Xbox One outsold the Wii U. And it was $150 more expensive. So clearly it's not just price. I'll give you another scenario. Well, let's go back to the PlayStation 2, Xbox, OG Xbox, and the GameCube. GameCube launched at $199. Brand new day one. I know because I was there when I bought it day one, right? PlayStation 2 outsold it, and Xbox outsold it, and they were more expensive. Why? Okay? It's not just about the cheaper price. It's a combination of, is this a console we want to buy, and the value behind the console. It's a combination of stuff, okay? When I said, people are twisting my comment of 2017 where I said PlayStation 4 is going to outsell Xbox because it's cheaper, right? Which that's part of my point. If some of you remember, you've been on my channel, there was this big push that Xbox One was finally going to outsell PlayStation 4 for November MPD because the Xbox One X was being released in November, and that's going to cause people to start buying Xbox over PlayStation 4. And I told people, no, PlayStation 4 is cheaper, right? And it's going to outsell it, right? What people forgot, though, was PlayStation 4 was also already established as the hot item. So it wasn't just a PlayStation 4 being cheaper. PlayStation 4 was already the hot item because this was 2017. We're already talking 4 years into the gen, right? And they bundled it with Uncharted 4, which was a very popular game, and they did a price drop. So you had the combination of the most popular console, plus one of the most popular exclusives, and a $250 price tag, coupled with, deals like Target $50 gift cards and all that. The Xbox One X, with no games launching, because it had no games launching with it, a library that most people didn't care about, because that was around the time people started noticing, damn, Xbox got no games, and it was priced at $500. There was no way Xbox was going to do anything against PS4, and that's what ended up happening. Now people try to use part of my logic with Xbox Series S being $300 and thinking that was it. No, it's not going to work, because while, yes, it's $300, but what do you do with a Series S if you were to actually buy it? It doesn't do anything. It doesn't have the next generation graphics. There's no new games to play on it. In fact, the most popular thing right now is the conversation of you can download an emulator and play PlayStation 2 games. It doesn't do anything when you think about it. In fact, Series S is a pretty poor product. It can't even get the Xbox One X enhanced games. So for example, if you're playing Cyberpunk on the Xbox Series S, you are playing the Xbox One Vanilla or the Xbox One S version. You do not have the Xbox One X enhancements. So the game looks like trash on the Series S. It's trash. So what does this console do? It didn't do anything in reality, right? And people notice that. A lot of people know, yeah, this console ain't it, chief, right? So the $300 Series S is not going to do anything. In fact, I think it was a big mistake. Microsoft should have just released a discless version of the Series X for $399. And for just $99 more, you get a premium console, right? And a lot of Xbox guys went all digital anyway. So I'm pretty sure a lot of them would have been happy paying $399 for an all digital Series X. Vice, the disc-based, when they're not going to buy a disc-based game anyway. And they're not going to watch movies on it. That would have been a much better thing, right? So PlayStation dominating all around the world. And now you got the damage control for the Xbox community, right? And the number one damage control is, number one, Microsoft said that is the biggest launch ever, right? and the community is talking about how Xbox Series consoles outsold globally in total. So when they mention this, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. MPD said Series X and Series S combined sold less than Xbox One. And then there's other data showed around the world. Overall, it didn't set records. Overall, it sold less than Xbox One. So when you add less in America, less in other regions combined, how does that equal more than Xbox One? Like, the math don't add up. If you didn't outsell the Xbox One in the US and in the rest of the world you didn't outsell the Xbox One, then how does less plus less equals more? It doesn't make sense, right? So I'm thinking, what the hell are they talking about when they said Microsoft said this, and that? So I went and I looked, and what I found was this. This is what I found from Phil Spencer himself. And give me a second while I put it up. So look at this image. This is what I found. I found this. So this is from Phil Spencer, right? In his account. This is his tweet. And he says, "Thank you for supporting the largest launch in Xbox history. In 24 hours, more new consoles sold in more countries than ever before. We're working with retail to resupply as quickly as possible. You can continue to show us the connective power of play is more important than ever." So this is the tweet most people are referencing. I couldn't find official tweets about direct sales from Microsoft themselves. This is straight from the man, and this is what he said. So I'm reading the tweet, and like normal, most Xbox dudes, from my experience, have very poor reading comprehension. And maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the Xbox guys I particularly talk to. Maybe I just attract the fanboy guys, right? And all the logical, educated Xbox dudes, they don't mess with me, right? Because they probably only want to hear about positive stuff about Xbox. I don't know. I'm considered toxic, whatever, right? So maybe the actual educated guys who graduated high school and not got GEDs, or maybe, they're in college, all those dudes, they don't mess with me. And maybe I only attract the dudes whose highest ledger of education from the Xbox community are 8th graders or failed 8th grade. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But from my experience, most Xbox guys I talk to suck at reading, right? And this is a perfect example. So let's take a look at what Phil Spencer said. Look at his words. Pretend we're on an SAT and we were taking a test and we had to dissect what he's trying to say. Phil Spencer said, "Thank you for supporting the largest launch in Xbox history. In 24 hours, more new consoles sold in more countries than ever before." Okay? He didn't say Xbox Series console outsold Xbox One. He's just saying these new consoles were sold in more countries. Okay? So let me explain what he's trying to tell you. Let's pretend, and I'm just making up numbers for the sake of education. Let's pretend Xbox One sold in 10 countries, but when you combine the sales of the 10 countries, they sold 3 million consoles. Let's pretend 3 million they sold. Making up numbers. And then you got the Xbox Series console sold in 40 countries, but they only sold 1 million combined in 40 countries. Phil Spencer's statement is true. Even though it only sold 1 million consoles, again, I'm just making up numbers for the sake of education, those million have been spread across 40 countries. Therefore, the Xbox One sold more countries, sold in more countries. 40. 1 million across 40. Than the Xbox One, who sold 3 million but was limited to 10. But when you look at the amount of consoles sold in total, 3 million is bigger than 1 million. You see what I'm saying? So this is a wordplay. All Phil Spencer is saying is he launched a console in more countries as compared to his previous console, which got launched in X amount of countries. So Xbox Series platforms are been sold or in stores in more countries around the world compared to any previous Xbox. That's all he did. He expanded the chain of where Xbox Series console was going to be sold at. He inserted the console in more countries. And that could be for a plethora of reasons, right? It could be, last gen and the previous gen, Xbox was limited to regions where they were able to provide Xbox Live. That was the biggest thing, for Microsoft. You know, if they were going to sell a console, it had to have access to Xbox Live. They were not going to sell consoles in regions where they couldn't provide Xbox Live network to it. They didn't do that. So whatever console the country had is because they had Xbox Live in this country. Well, now it's 2020, right? As compared to 2013. Oh, and another thing, in 2013, another hindrance was Kinect. There was a lot of countries where, because of language barrier, Kinect was useless. So a lot of places, Xbox One was not sold at launch in countries simply because of the barrier behind Kinect. Kinect was useless in many countries due to the language, so they didn't sell it there. So it was another limiting factor. Fast forward to 2020, there's probably a lot more regions that have access to Xbox Live due to internet infrastructure, whatever regulations a country has. Xbox Live is more accessible in 2020 around the world, so they're able to push more consoles in more countries than before. But that doesn't mean it sold more in total. It just means it was available in more countries. It's a play on words. His statement does not say Xbox Series sold more, just sold more than Xbox One. That's not what his statement is saying. And that's what's crazy, right? But once again, Xbox dudes can't read, right? Or maybe they can read and they're purposely lying just for the sake of argument. But right now, Phil has not said Xbox Series X sold this amount, which is bigger than Xbox One this amount. It's not. It's just available in more countries. Which brings up my second point, which doesn't make sense. Why would you want to sell your console in more areas or in countries that don't want your console, right? There's already pictures in Germany where Xbox consoles are already stacked and no one's really buying it. And I lived in Germany, and most of you know, over the last 2 years. They don't care about Xbox. I cannot express how little the gaming community overall doesn't like Xbox. They don't get it. It's a very niche product over there for certain gamers. Majority of people don't care about Xbox. That is not their brand. They love PC, they love Nintendo, they love PlayStation. Those are their three platforms. And that's what they go for the most. Xbox is so low on the totem pole, I can't even explain it. And I'm not even trolling. It's unbelievable. You know, just how not important that platform is, right? So why would you launch consoles in that region when you know no one cares about it, right? Now, here's the thing, and people's going to understand. People are going to be like, well, you have to try because you have to, get people interested in your product. Number one, to get people interested in your product and make them want to buy a console, you need something called, what was it called again? It's on the tip of my tongue. It's hold up. You need. Give me a second. I got it. You need games. Yeah, that's it. Games. You need games. You need games. Games is what's gonna make you people buy the console. Because when you buy the console and you put it on your entertainment system, you know that's just the beginning of the fight. What are you gonna play on that box? You need games. The box is just a box. It's useless without the games. So if you want Germans or anybody around the world to buy this box, what game are they going to be interested in playing? And being able to say, well, we got, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they don't care, and most people don't care about that. Because they could play that on PC, which they already own. They could play that on PlayStation, or they could play that on the upcoming, right? Oh, wait, Xbox, we got Assassin's Creed Valhalla. They could be walking, well, PS5 does too, so I'm going to grab the PS5 and play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I don't need you for that. What is the console doing in its own right to get people to choose that console? And we already proven it isn't power or graphics. No one cares about that, right? It's not how it is, right? Now, you could say community, your friends list, right? But all you're doing is having the people who are already part of Xbox just rebuy Xbox when the next generation comes. But how are you growing the fan base who has no invested interest in the ecosystem in the first place, right? Because if you don't have friends on Xbox because you hardly ever play it, you never really owned it, so you don't have the investment into the ecosystem, you're not missing friends that you never made in the first place. You can't say, backwards compatibility. Well, you never really bought Xbox games in the past, so you don't have that either. You don't have anything. You don't have the personal investment. You don't have the financial investment in the brand. So what will make a person who never really played Xbox who never really made friends on Xbox because they never owned the ecosystem. What will make them out of the blue now choose Xbox over PlayStation 5? What do you have to make them do that choice? And that's the majority of gamers out there. Majority of gamers don't play on Xbox. They don't. Many of them gave up on it. So the ecosystem, the backwards compatibility doesn't apply to majority of gamers because they don't mess with the ecosystem. You have to develop new content that will make people, gravitate towards that hardware and be like, I gotta play that game, because then at that point, that's all that matters. It's all that matters of I got to play that game, and if the only way I could play is on Xbox, now sure I got it. It's on PC, yes I know, but for the console only gamers, right, that don't play on PC, their only method to play these games is if they gotta buy a console. And if they see a game, they're like, man, I really want to play that game. They're gonna get the console to play it. That's how you get people to jump onto the ecosystem. Microsoft has not done that at all. Right? So with that, when this console launched, right? Shout out to Vedger. Thank you for the super. He says they still don't get it. Up with the whiteboard. Man, I really wish I had my whiteboard, right? Shout out to Vedger. Thank you for the support, right? So with that said, so what made the Xbox Series so at launch? Well, it's just like any other product, right? It's the new thing, the new tech. So you're going to have people, diehard Xbox guys are going to buy it. Diehard techies are going to buy it. People who just want the new are going to buy it. Streamers are going to buy it because that's part of their channel and it's going to provide monetization. All those people, right? That small window goes away. The small window of techies and diehards and people who are doing it for their channel. You only have a small window, right, of taking advantage of that group, right? And you want to take advantage of that group because something's going to happen next year, early next year. Early next year, all of that's going to go away. The whole new, it's the new thing, it's the hot thing, it's brand new architecture, I want to try new tech. In 2020, most people ain't going to care about that anymore because it's no longer the new thing. It's already out on the street. What's going to happen is it's going to be about the games. It's going to be about, okay, what does this product have? What content does it have? Should I get it, right? That's the decision most people are going to, right? Okay? So what Microsoft should have done is taken advantage of that small window at launch and be like, hey, we're going to take advantage and make sure that the people who are interested in new tech, all the Xbox diehards, all the streamers, all those people get access to the console. So we got to make sure the console is available in the biggest regions where Xbox is the most popular for within the Xbox, right? So we're not going to send consoles in Germany because Germans just don't like us, right? We're going to hold off on the European launch in January 2021. Doesn't really matter, right? We're going to focus all our stock in the most regions like the UK, Brazil. US should have gotten 70% of the stock. I'm sorry. It is what it is. I always said Xbox is not a world brand. It's a regional brand. Don't worry about it. Most of these countries don't like Xbox anyway. Focus and grab that attention in the places that will buy Xbox. The places you know Xbox is going to sell. US, Brazil, Mexico, UK, and whatever region that Microsoft knows analytically, this is where the console sells the best. Focus on those regions. Sure, it may only be 7 countries, right? But at least those 7 countries will truly sell out on your console and not have console in the warehouse or in the store shelf because people just walk by and they don't give a damn about it. At the very least, it's going to sell across the board. That would have been my thing, right? And then feed the people that you know is going to support your console, and then over time, do a new launch in another country, right? Hopefully with some games, because that's really what's going to attract people. When people are going to be like, all right, why should I buy an Xbox Series X or Series S? Oh, it has this game. Oh, man, that game looks really good. Sure, I'll buy a console to play that game. That's what's going to make them. The console's not going to sell itself to those people because they already know, in their opinion, Xbox not a great brand. But if you can change their mind with games, they will change their mind. But Microsoft has not figured that out yet. And it just blows my mind that, and I'll be honest, the community, I don't know whether it's the fanboys and stuff, but you constantly see them on Twitter saying, exclusives don't sell consoles. So with that, let me show you guys this, which blows my mind that guys say that. Nope, not that one. Yeah, that one. Boom. As you can see right here, This is the top 20 games sold for the month of November, right? So, of course, you got, Call of Duty. Call of Duty always outsells everything, right? It's the most popular game. It's across multiple platforms. It's on PS4. It's on Xbox One series of platforms. It's on the PS5. It's on the Xbox Series platform. It's on PC. It's everywhere, right? Assassin's Creed Valhalla, another game very popular across every platform possible, right? Then you step into number 3, Miles Morales, right? And that's only available on 2 platforms, the PS4 and the PS5. So clearly on the PlayStation front, a significant amount of people wanted to play that game. Then, of course, number 4, you got Madden and 2K. Then number 6 comes in Hyrule Warriors, which is exclusive to Switch. Very impressive. Then you got Watch Dogs Legion, available on every platform. Animal Crossing, only available on the Switch. Then you got FIFA. And then to round off, and this is really important, to round off the top 10, Demon's Souls. Now, what makes Demon's Souls really impressive, number 1, it's in the month of November, right? Where you have tons of big games selling, right? The biggest games. In order for Demon's Souls to be up there, right? It didn't have the advantage of being a multiplat. It didn't even have the advantage of being on PS4. So that Demon's Souls game being in the top 10 is 100% exclusively on the strength of the PlayStation 5 platform. No other platform can contribute to the sales of Demon's Souls. And when you look at the games that sold more, it outsold Mario Kart 8. It outsold Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Just Dance, which is a multiplayer, right? New Super Mario Brothers. Luigi, right? Mario Kart Live. Damn, there's a lot of Switch exclusives on this. Outsold Marvel Avengers, Mortal Kombat. And then to round off, number 20 is Ghost of Tsushima, which is exclusively running on the strength of PlayStation 4, which is impressive because the game came out months ago. Yet in November, it still did great enough to be in the top 20 overall. Right? When you look at this list, right? This list overall spells, right, between the consoles is that PlayStation and Switch were very big platforms for the month of November. And that was out there. Nothing on this list screams Xbox. Nothing. Right? With all the talk about Gears 5, oh my God, Gears 5. It's ultra settings. Right? When you look at it, right? Xbox is ultra settings. It's settings that don't even exist on PC. Yo, these dudes made it seem like Gears 5 was launched for the first time in November. That's all they talk about. You don't see Gears 5 in the chart. It's running ultra. It's running. They making up words. I think what's higher than ultra? Gargantuan settings. I don't know. But they made it seem like they're playing a game that not even PC gamers could even play, the way they made it sound like. They made it sound like they're playing a Gears 5 that never existed technology-wise. It's using technologies that doesn't even exist on PC. PC gamers don't even know what Gears has. Shit is crazy the way they hyped Gears, right? And it's not on MPD. Nothing. Magnum settings. My man, Pepe Instigator. Magnum settings. Gears 5's on the Magnum settings. Doesn't exist. You can't run Magnum on the 3090. Nah. Magnum settings exclusive to Series X. What the hell is it? How come it's not in the top sellers? How come it didn't reignite sales or whatever? Or something, right? Yo, it's crazy. The information they're pushing doesn't match reality. That's what's crazy about this whole thing. Nothing they're saying is happening in real life. They say one thing, and then when you try to look at real life, for an example, it's not there. And you're like, what is you talking about? Like, what the words in your mouth is not demonstrating in real life. It's like these dudes are telling you the sun rises in the west. And then when you look in the west, you ain't seeing rising. You look behind you, and it's the east, and the sun's rising. You're like, but brah, the east that's east. You see the sun going up. Nah, dog, you gotta wait for tooling. What the hell is you talking about? What is you talking about? And you're like, it did just not match in reality. Like, nothing's matching the reality. And that's what's crazy, right? It's absolutely insane on this one. But you can see, this speaks for itself. You got PlayStation games on there. You got a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Demon's Souls in its top 10. And that's incredible. Because one, normally a game like Demon's Souls, like, Dark Souls type games, and it's funny, we call Dark Souls type games, but Demon's Souls came out before that. That's really what started the trend, right? But these Souls games don't normally sell big, especially in November. Top 10 in November? If I were to tell you a Souls game, I can't remember if a Souls game dominated November. I honestly don't know. But that's impressive. But what's really impressive is in top 10 strictly on the base of launch gamers. Think about it. PS5 only gamers, right? Or, Demon Souls is competing with games that's available not only on Xbox and PC, but it's also available on PS4 and PS5, right? Like Marvel's Avengers is available on every platform, right? Even Ghost of Tsushima. So that's pretty impressive that Demon Souls was able to do that, right? And when you look at Xbox, most of those games, like if you look at every game on the list other than Nintendo, the only games PlayStation cannot play on that list is the Nintendo exclusives. That's it. When you scroll down that list, Call of Duty, PlayStation, Assassin's Creed, PlayStation, Spider-Man, PlayStation, Madden, PlayStation, 2K, PlayStation, Hyrule, that's Nintendo, Watch Dogs, PlayStation, Animal Crossing, Nintendo, FIFA, PlayStation, Demon Souls, PlayStation, Mario Kart 8, Nintendo, Super Mario, Nintendo, Just Dance. I think that's Nintendo only, right? I don't remember Just Dance being a thing on everyone. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that. Luigi. New Super Mario, Mario Kart, Nintendo, Super Smash Bros. Nintendo, Marvel Avengers, PlayStation, Mortal Kombat, PlayStation, Ghost of Tsushima. So if you look at that list, right, if you were an Xbox only gamer, there is a lot of games on that list you're not going to be able to play. If you're a PlayStation gamer, the only games you're not going to be able to play is the Nintendo games. And if you're Nintendo only gamers, you got a lot of games you're not going to be played because it's only Nintendo. You see what I'm saying? That's it. That's the data. That's the info. Hit that like button. I'm at 99. There's 300 people watching me. Hook a brother up, man. Give me some habu. Habu. You know what habu? H-A-B-U? Hook a brother up. Hook up with that habu, bro. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. And don't forget to tweet this out. Let me show you something else now. I'm all about the visuals. All about the visuals, right? The digital whiteboard. Okay? So recently, at the Game Awards, of course, Last of Us won Game of the Year. What's funny is it won Best Narrative. That's pretty funny, considering how many people hated the narrative, right? But Microsoft showed a little surprise for Perfect Dark. CGI trailer looked pretty good. Graphically, it looked good. Don't know the gameplay, but I think that's good. Don't know when it's coming out, but I think that's good because it's confirmation. And I think that's good. Microsoft needs to start doing that stuff, right? Start showing them trailers. Even if the trailer comes out 2-3 years later, just get people, show them. Don't say games are coming, show them. Show the development, get them out there, right? It works. It's like trailer for movies, right? They show a quick teaser trailer, gets people excited, gets people in the know. But I understand this right here. So first off, Red Shirt Guy, that's broken, that's BG, he says, the issue with Xbox is something is always coming. Things are hardly ever here. When they finally do get here, it often doesn't validate how long you waited. This is why when they make announcements, it doesn't hold a lot of weight to me. It's a cycle that's been happening too long. Red Dragon retweeted and said this, but they really have no reason to do things any different because the fanboy just keeps showering them with praise no matter what and cream themselves with every CGI trailer and every new rumor of who's going to be bought next. Waiting awaits. All right? And they make a great point. All right? And I said this a couple of times, right? I think it's cool that they announced Perfect Dark, but I'm not going to jump in down and be like, yep, we did it. It's here. Everything's okay. Everything's fixed. No more problems. Xbox redeemed themselves. It's over. Good. Mission accomplished. Good job, Microsoft. We're all happy. Where's my Xbox? I'm going to buy it right now. Everything's fine now. Everything's fine. Everything's solved. Situation solved. Woo! Congratulations, Xbox. You fixed it. No. They didn't fix anything. Right? I said multiple times, I do not understand why people give Microsoft credit for something they haven't done yet. I don't understand the logic. They haven't done anything yet. They haven't actually fixed the problem, right, that we have as gamers, which was create great games to play. They have not done that yet, okay? Now, I will say it is cool that they announced Perfect Dark, And I'm waiting for them to announce more games. But it doesn't mean anything when we have those games and they're 60 rated template trash. I'm not saying Perfect Dark will be trash, but we have to wait and see how the game comes out. Will this game be a big blockbuster AAA phenom? The type of game that people will willing to put in the time, in the Game Awards and make that their, Reader's Choice Awards. Will that game compete for Game of the Year spots? Will it win Game of the Year across multiple outlets and stuff like that? Will it get a 90 plus Metacritic? Will it be a game people talk about? Will it be the game that will actually make Xbox gamers use the goddamn share button that's on their controller? Because I haven't seen a lot of that lately. I haven't seen a lot of people using the share button. Because the reality, there's not much to share. Will that be that game? And you know what I'm talking about. All the dudes on PlayStation, you see PlayStation Nation share the hell out of their games. From Horizon Zero Dawn, The Last of Us, Spider-Man especially. You got people making GIFs out of the stuff, out of PlayStation games, right? And that's because the games are so compelling. They're so big. They're so monstrous and everybody's playing them or whatever. It makes people want to share what they see. It makes people, go on Twitter and social media. Hey, look at this game. Check this out. Check out this screenshot. Check out this video. Check out my GIF, right? Will these Xbox games be that game? And that's what we have to wait for. It's good on Microsoft to finally show. They need to show more stuff. 23 studios. I keep hearing 23 studios every day, all day on Twitter. But I don't see anything. They need to show the games. But then when they release, it needs to have that level of quality that fights among some of the best games of the year, right? Because that's the standard we have to hold first-party developers to, right? First-party developers should be held to a higher standard compared to third-party, right? Because the first-party developers work for the company that is selling you the console. So they should be providing you the very best experience for that console because it's their console. If they can't do it, then who can? Right? So I completely understand BG and the Red Dragon. I'm the same way, but I'm not going to bash the trailers that they're showing. I'm saying good job. If the trailer looks good, it looks good. But don't expect me to be like, oh shit, Perfect Dark trailer, Xbox is saved. No. Right? The jury's still out when the games come out. When the games come out and it's a big killer hit, then it's a big killer hit. It will speak for itself. When a game's a big killer hit. Everybody knows, right? Just like Ghost of Tsushima, we know it's a big hit. God of War, we know it's a big hit. The Last of Us, Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man, Zelda Breath of the Wild. We know big hits when we see it. Cyberpunk, as broken as the game launched, big hit. We know big hits when we see it. There's no thing. Now look at Anthem, right? Right? Anthem was hyped to be a big hit, right? But when the game actually came out, we played it. We all recognized it for what it was. Now I like the game, right? I played it because to me it was the closest thing to playing Iron Man that we're ever gonna get, and I liked how open the world was and flying around and fighting. It was great, but overall they did a poor job of supporting it, right? So we know Anthem's not a big hit. We just know, right? So we're gonna know if these Xbox games are big hits or if they're just okay. You created new games, but you didn't create big hits. We're gonna know, and that's when that's when we'll know. That's when the jury will come out, right? I hope they're big hits. I hope Perfect Dark's a big hit, right? Because I will be playing that on PC, but I will be playing that. And if it's a great game, I'm going to be enjoying a great game. Great game's a great game, no matter what platform it's from, right? And I'm going to enjoy it, right? But if Microsoft keeps pushing out generic games, it's not going to ultimately solve their problem for the brand. They're always going to experience issues as time goes on. What's the next image I have? All right, here. So, this deals with Spider-Man. They did it with Miles Morales, but as you can see here, we just deployed the 1.0002 update, which is kind of weird that they went all the way that number. But for Marvel Spider-Man Remastered, which adds performance ray tracing mode. This is incredible, right? Absolutely incredible. The fact that not only, the remastered, but Miles Morales, I think Miles Morales was first, got another performance mode, which includes ray tracing. So now you got 60 frames with ray tracing, dynamic 4K. Now, obviously, the bottom area got expanded, right? So in that mode, you're going to hit lower resolution as compared to the non-ray tracing performance mode. But overall, from what I was told, the game still looks great, right? PlayStation found a way to hit the upper limits of dynamic 4K. So overall, Lock 60, ray tracing, and you still got great resolution. What does that tell me, right? Well, for a while, people were telling me, wait for tooling. And as the tooling improves, you're going to get better performances from these consoles. Right? Am I bugging out, chat? Am I the only one? If you heard that statement, type 1 in the chat. If you heard that statement, wait for tooling. Because as in toolings improve, game performance and graphics and fidelity and ray tracing, all that stuff will improve. If you heard those statements, hit 1. I want to make sure I'm not the only one. Maybe, I want to make sure I'm not, I don't want to make sure I'm not crazy and I'm hearing voices in my head. So hit the number 1 if you heard that. All right, Matrix, Luke's Blade, everybody's hitting 1. Okay, everybody's hitting 1, yes. So I'm not the only one. So is this not an example of improved tooling? And why are we seeing it from PlayStation? Because to me, that means the tooling is better. Because before, Spider-Man was just simply 4K, 30 with ray tracing. But if you want to play in 60 performance mode, they took off ray tracing. And Digital Foundry explained why they did that. Because ray tracing is very intensive. They even did a breakdown video of what has to be done to get ray tracing enabled. And they used the window where you can only do it in 30 frames. Well, now they're doing ray tracing with 60 frames performance. So what does that sound like to you? It sounds like words on PlayStation, right? Improved tooling is matching reality. We're seeing the reality of improved toolings, right? The funny part is, here's the crazy part. We're not jumping up and down on PlayStation. Oh my God, wait for toolings, the toolings. We're not making podcasts talking about tooling for PlayStation. We're just simply enjoying the games. And if PlayStation 5 improves, it improves. It's going to happen in its own time with the developers. Right? Spending thousands of hours on a podcast is not going to make it go faster. It's just going to happen. Right? And look, at no point did any of us ever expect that we would be playing Spider-Man at 60 frames with ray tracing. Notice nobody had an insider in PlayStation Nation. Nobody was like, psst. Yo. If you sign up my Patreon, I got some news for you. Oh, okay. You swiped the credit card? All right, since you swiped that credit card and you're done with my Patreon, we're going to get ray tracing at 60 frames on PlayStation. I got my sources. Watch. That didn't happen. PlayStation Nation don't do that trash. Ain't nobody got an insider. Where all the PlayStation insiders at? We ain't get no haiku. Nobody did no poem of we're going to get 60 frames and ray tracing in Spider-Man. There was no poems. There was no haikus. Nobody went on Twitter and be like, Spider-Man performance. 60 frames we have. Ray tracing enabled. A haiku by Porter Rock. Nobody did that. No one did no haikus on that. We had no warning. PlayStation just did it. They just do. We just wake up one morning and everything just gets better. It's just, we don't ask for it. It's just boom. It's there. We just woke up and we saw a tweet. Miles Morales got, performance with ray tracing. We're like, wait, what? Some of us got mad actually. Right? Like me, I was mad because I already did my second playthrough and got the platinum. Like, goddamn, if someone would have warned me, I would have held off on my second playthrough. Now I got to play the game a third time to enjoy performance and ray tracing. It's just crazy. No one warned me. Where are our insiders at? They are slacking. These guys suck. Because they want to talk about T-flops. This is the news we needed Because I would have held off on my second playthrough, and I would have loved playing at 60 frames with ray tracing. You know? Well, there's no insider. There's no haikus. There's no weird stuff. PlayStation just does it. And I'm going to be honest, though. On the real, that's how it should be. You don't talk and talk and talk and have us wait with just talk and promises. You just do it. You just wake up one morning, you read a tweet, and boom. You just get it. You get it right in front of your face, and it just happens. It just does it. And that's the way it should be. PlayStation Nation wasn't spending hours and hours talking about potentially getting ray tracing at 60 frames and performance rate. We just didn't do that. We played Spider-Man. We enjoyed the hell out of it. And now we got this out of the blue, so many of us will try it and enjoy it. You know? And if Insomniac is leading the way, finding ways to give us performance mode with ray tracing, you best believe the other first-party studios are getting cues and tips and tricks, and the SDKs are getting better. Everybody's figuring out what to do and how to improve in it. And all that data and knowledge, right, and the work between studios, I'm sure they're going to pass it on to third-party because they want third-party to bring out the very best in PlayStation have, right? And that's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. There's a lot of trash and misinformation from the Xbox community because they're talking about, well, when the tools come and they hit, it's gonna be what we've been talking about for 10 months. The games are just gonna be better. So let me explain what they're not considering in this conversation. Number one, they're talking about the tools that we know, AMD provided, with their RDNA architecture, VRS, Mesh, all this nonsense, right? Because AMD talks about it, it's AMD tech, and Microsoft said we're using it, okay? What we don't know is, what is the tech PlayStation is using? No one really knows. There's rumors of RDNA 3, I don't listen to the nonsense. The reality is, no one really knows what Sony developers PlayStation decided to use. The one thing we do know is that AMD tech wasn't built exclusively for Microsoft. It was tech they built for the RDNA cards, which means Sony knows about that tech. But Sony decided not to use some of that tech and decided to use some of their own proprietary tech for whatever reason. Okay? Now, I'm not saying what Sony is using is better or worse. It doesn't matter. But what we need to consider is this. The makers of God of War, the makers of Horizon Zero Dawn, the makers of Spider-Man, right? The makers of The Last of Us and Uncharted, some of the best developers in the industry, the Cory Barlog, Neil Druckmann, all those guys, right? Collectively made a decision to not use what AMD's offering, and they wanted to use certain things themselves that's proprietary to the PlayStation. So you might want to consider that the stuff these guys want to use are pretty good at a minimum. They're going to be good tech. They're going to be good instruction sets. They're going to be good technology that brings out great stuff for the PlayStation. Because this console was built with them in mind. It wasn't like some Mark Cerny by himself built the PS5 in the laboratory and then he created it and then went out and then told these guys, hey, this is the PS5 console. They stopped doing that. Ever since the PS4, ever since the disaster of the PS3, let's say, every console made after had input from the very beginning by their first party studio, so they will never make that mistake again in creating something that was just too hard and too difficult for developers. So everything built is with them in mind. They are part of the process from the moment somebody said, all right, let's begin making a new PlayStation. All the developers are in the table right from scratch. All of them, all the first party guys, they're there. They're part of the process right from paper. From paper to prototype, they are part in every single aspect of developing that. Okay? So when you got these guys, the maker of God of War, The Last of Us, Uncharted, Infamous, all these games, and they're saying this is what we want to do, you might want to be like, the PlayStation 5 SDKs might have some punch to them. If they're willing to bypass what AMD's offering and they instead wanted to do this stuff. Now, I'm not saying what they chose is better than what AMD has, but what I am saying is they are invested in trying to create the best games possible on the PlayStation 5, and this is the route they chose. Okay? So because we don't fully understand the route they chose, how can anyone say Xbox SDKs will produce better results than PlayStation 5 when we really don't know what PlayStation 5 SDKs are to actually do a direct comparison. So that's number one in the conversation. Number two, in order for the Xbox version of PlayStation 5 games to, let's say, surpass, like this is Xbox, this is PlayStation. Right now, PlayStation is like this, right? Just teetering a little bit better. But as time goes on, this is what people are expecting, right? They're expecting the Xbox X to just blow past it, right? In order for that to happen, that will mean PlayStation 5 kits have reached the point where developers can't optimize it no more. They maxed out. They got all they can get out of PlayStation 5 SDKs, while the Xbox SDKs, they still pack more juice. They still got more stuff. They can still do more. Hence, now everything's lopsided. If, let's say, that was to happen, let's say if we get to the point where PlayStation 5 kits maxed out, that's it. They squeeze every juice. There's no more optimization left. It's tapped out. How long before that day happens? Because that day is not going to happen a year from now. They're not going to tap out of PlayStation 5's development kits a year from now. They're not. A year from now, they're going to be like, yep, we figured it out. We mastered it. That's it. We got all we can get out of it. That's not going to happen in a year from now. Usually, when the kits get maxed out, it's almost closer towards the end of the gen, and you can tell we reach max capacity. You can tell when a console pretty much is on its last leg, and that's when gamers start saying it's time for next gen. We need next gen consoles because we're not seeing anything doing dramatic shifts. We don't see dramatic improvements. We're pretty much tapped out. Bring on next gen. Bring on new hardware. Bring on new technology. Let's get the new stuff out. So even if that case was going to be true, you won't see that case for like 5-6 years. Who's going to talk about in 5 years or 4 years, that window? Oh, finally, Series X got better version of multiplats. 4, 5, 6 years from now. Who gives a damn? We will be so knee deep in amazing games, in Game of the Year games, in compelling titles. That's what's going to be the conversation. The question is, will Xbox be part of the conversation? I don't know. I cannot tell you that. I hope they are, because that would be great. If Microsoft as a first party is part of the conversation of creating compelling games. But right now it looks like it's just going to be Nintendo and PlayStation, right? And I think Sony truly knows they have to come out with compelling games. I like what they're doing with this. Returnal confirmed for March launch in 2021. Now, this is not a big AAA title. This is more like a AA. If you look at the game, it's a AA title, right? And I think some people have concerns that this game might flop because it's $70, which I can totally see that happening, right? Because this depending how it comes, when you have the $70, it is for some people, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow. So they might only reserve day one purchase of $70 games for like the biggest games out there. The God of Wars, the Spider-Mans, the Horizon Zero Dawn, the Naughty Dog games, the Grand Theft Autos, the Red Deads, and yada, yada, yada. While a game like Returnal from House Marquee, who traditionally is known for indie games, small indie games, right? It might be a tough pill to swallow to invest in that. I can see a lot of hardcore gamers will buy it. I am very interested in buying it, right? So I will pay the $70, but I can see this is not the type of game that's going to sell like 5-6 million, right? But what I do like is the fact that they increased the budget for House Marquee and they allowed them to create a bigger budget game. And that's how that's the route you can see. You took a studio that was an indie studio and they made great games as an indie studio. Now they're stepping up. They're taking that next step, right? And they jumped into the AA arena, which looks really good, right? So I'm really glad that Sony's doing that stuff, right? Which tells me Sony realizes that what really makes them popular is those bigger budget games that attracts gamers, right? And I think Sony's going to invest a lot more. Supposedly PlayStation 5 kits is built easier to help developers make more games. And I hope Sony goes out there and try to get developers to develop bigger games exclusively of PlayStation 5. And we'll see how that turns out. But that is, Sony knows what's going to make PlayStation 5 popular. They already know it. They already see it. Which is why I think they're so adamant about trying to get Horizon Zero, the sequel to Horizon out there. Get God of War out there. Right? Got Ratchet and Clank. You know. I know there's rumors of Silent Hill, Metal Gear. If we could get Metal Gear Solid remake from Blue Point, oh my God, that's going to be... Whoo! Woo! Lord. That's huge. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just gonna throw a momentum on the PlayStation 5. I'm sorry to say right now. Well, I'm not sorry to say. I'm glad to say PlayStation, Sony is hitting all the right notes. They're just hitting it good. They're pushing out the content. Hopefully, they're able to sustain it. For you racing fans, rumor has it GT7 is coming 2021 and is built exclusively for PS5, not a PS4 game. You know, of course, there's talks of, damn, that's messed up because of PlayStation 4. The way I see it, PlayStation 4 has 7 years in its life. You know, 7 years is great. It's a great run. It's time to move on. It's a great run. It's time to move on. And I think majority of the people that had the PlayStation 5 for so long, I think they want to take advantage. I think the people who may have a problem with all this is the ones who bought the PlayStation 4 over the last 2 years. They just got a PlayStation 4. So they just started gaming with PlayStation 4. But the way I see it, by waiting so long, the reward you get is not new games from PlayStation, but you get access to a console that was a cheaper price, and you have a huge backlog of games that don't cost $60 when they first came out, right? You have a huge collection of games that are $10, $15, $11, and across first party and third party, and you have a huge backlog that by the time you play a good amount of those games, you would probably be 4 or 5 years deep into this gen, which would mean the PlayStation 5 might be $300, $250, and all the games that people have been paying $70, you're only paying $20, and the cycle happens all over. So I think anybody who jumps in on a console 5 years, 6 years into the gen, I don't see why you expect that the new games that get created should apply to you. No. What you get is a cheaper console and a huge backlog of games at $10. And you get to enjoy all those games. And you get to play them until you're knee deep into the new gen and you start the cycle all over, right? But we got to move on with the day one adopters because there's people who bought a PS4 in 2013, 14. I bought in 15. We want to move on. We had the PlayStation 4 long enough. It's time for the new stuff. And we want to see the games take advantage of the PlayStation 5 right from the design. Right from the ground up. So we got to move on. And that's it. Whatever. Do I have another content? Nope, that's it. That's the conversations. Let me put this back up there. All right. One last thing I will talk about is Cyberpunk. Now, I'm not here to talk about if the game is good or not. I will say I like Fallout. I like Elder Scrolls. And if all of you are like me and played all of them or played most of them and beat most of them, you should know they are very buggy games. I played Oblivion, Skyrim, obviously, all the DLC. I played Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, all the DLCs across all of them. They are buggy as hell. But I still enjoy them. So I understand people playing these games. And for some reason, despite the bugs, people are still want to play these games because they do a great job of just the RPG and immersion aspects. I get that. Okay? But the one thing I don't like about this game, or what's done in this game, is CD Projekt Red purposely did not release review codes for the console version. That's trash. Right? Because even Bethesda didn't do that. You know? Bethesda did not hide any review versions from any platform. Even on the PS3 during that gen. The PS3 version was terrible. It was broken. Absolutely broken. They still released the codes though. And you know what you were playing with. So everybody that played this on console, they only had one version to go off of in terms of review. And that was the PC version. And the PC version doesn't have as much issues as the console version. And then when they show the graphics and how it looks, it's based off of 3090. So you're looking at all these games, you're looking at the game and the review, and you're like, man, that looks great. And then you're reading the review, because it's the only way you could read the reviews of that version. And like, oh, there's some issues, whatever, but it runs well. And you're like, man, that's great. So then, based off that review, you go buy a console. And then when you play a console, it's trash. It's trash. It's nothing like what you've seen. But some of the viewers couldn't put 2 and 2 together. They didn't realize the review you were reading was based off these dudes who are already playing it on the 3090 with the best CPU with 32 gigs of RAM, overclocked and all this nonsense. So yeah, under that condition, the game is great. But you pop that on your PS4, my God, that shit looks like you're playing the Switch version. It's trash. Now, again, I could completely understand that despite the game being trash on the PS4, on Xbox One, it is still fun. I'm not criticizing on that because I was there. I done it. I played Oblivion on consoles. I played Fallout on consoles. Very rough. But because of the design and the gameplay of the game, it's just fun to be in that role-playing world. It's just fun. Despite the bugs. And you have to like save every 5 minutes. No matter what you do. Because you never know when the game's going to crash on you. You just have to, like every little mission you do, save. Every time you walk through the door, save. You walk 100 feet, save. You're always saving. Every little, if you sell a piece of item and you get some money back, save. Because you never know, right? You're always saving all the time. And I got it. I've been there. I'm not going to be a hypocrite and make fun of people for playing this game. I've been there, okay? But as bad as Bethesda was, with the amount of bugs all their games come, they still had the review copies. So you knew what you were getting into. Especially like with the PlayStation 3 version at the time, it was trash. Running at 20 frames, but at least you read it. And you knew what you were running into. So if you bought it and you're like, man, this game's running at 20 frames, well, you knew. Unless you didn't read any of the reviews, then that's your fault. But you knew. It was transparent. I don't know why, but CD Projekt Red was not transparent with this game. They only showed the PC, and anybody who had the console version and tried to make a video, they were getting shut down with NDAs or whatever, even though they didn't sign an NDA because they had a street copy. They purposely hid any mention, version, or attempts to show the console version to the public. And even after the game's on sale, I mean, hell, let me see. Is there finding any reviews? Let me see. Give me a second. Let me look at Metacritic right now and see if they updated it. Because yesterday I was like, man, this game's still not on Metacritic. Nope. Still. If you go to Metacritic right now, this game is still the PS4 and the Xbox One version is still has no reviews on it. And I can see why, because it's such a big game. The only people who are reviewing it are one who's willing to buy the game. Right? And most people, even publishers, which is kind of shitty, most of them, yep, still no reviews. It has a 90 on PC and it's a must play. Cyberpunk on PS4 and Xbox One, nothing. It's still to be determined. And I'm going to tell you, the reason why it's taking so long is because, number one, for the professional reviewers, they normally rely on review copies. They rarely buy themselves. So they get a review copy early, and by the time the game comes out, they're ready for their review. But because CD Projekt Red never released console copies, that means they had to wait to actually buy the console version, if they even want to buy it, because some of them already have the PC review code. All they do is, well, we reviewed on PC, we're moving on. We're not going to worry about the console version because we got the free code. That's all we're going to carry. So you have to first deal with a reviewer that's willing to buy it out of their own pocket or out of the company's pocket. That's number one. Then number two, if they did buy it, they have to play it. And they have to play it for a while. So that means they're going to be playing this game for at least 2 weeks to get out of it. And then they're going to give their review. So you're probably not going to see these console reviews for maybe a week or two. But that's a week or two of sales that, it's too late. And from what I saw on Twitter, Cyberpunk sold to the point. It was like, I guess, the number one selling PC game on day one launch, and it sold very well on consoles. So it sold so well that it already made its money. It's already profitable. Day one. The game is profitable day one. So everything from this point forward is just money in the bag. They already recouped everything. They're already beyond that. Now every day is just, it's too late. It's too late to speak with your wallet. So we let CD Projekt Red get away with some BS. So me seeing this, I am not buying this game until they release, whenever they release it, the Game of the Year version with all the DLC, and I see it on the PlayStation Store for $20. Maybe during the Black Friday in 2023, 2024. I am not giving this company $70, $60, $50 at any point for this game. That ain't happening. I'm not doing that. I speak with my money. You're not getting a full 50, 60, 70. I don't care. When this game has the complete edition, the Game of the Year edition, the Punk edition, whatever they want to call it, the version that has the next gen update for the PS5, and it has all the DLC that's been released in total, and I see it for $20. Now you're worth it. You're worth $20 when you have everything. With all the debugs and patches, plus the next gen whatever, with all the DLC and items and customs and costumes, everything, all in one package, and I see it in the PSN store for $20 during a sale. Then I'll buy the game. But you're not getting more than $20 plus tax for this game. No, I want to see the complete version with all the DLC and all the patches, next gen upgrades, all the costumes, all the missions, everything. I'm talking everything. And $20. You're not getting more than that from me. And now wait, I don't need to play CD Projekt. I don't need to play Cyberpunk. You know? Maybe if I was on Xbox, I would be a little bit desperate. But I'm not on Xbox. Trust me. PlayStation got me more than full up. In fact, I'm overweight in gaming. PlayStation got me fat. My BMI is like at 45%. They're overfeeding me. I'm obese when it comes to gaming with PlayStation. They're feeding us really good. So I don't need Cyberpunk. I don't have to play Cyberpunk, period. I do not need that game at all. Now, maybe if I was on Xbox, you know, if you remember Eddie Murphy in Raw, he made a joke when you lock a dude up in a closet or whatever and starving, that dude, a saltine cracker, would taste like a steak dinner. So maybe on Xbox, Cyberpunk tastes like a steak dinner. You know, just like a cracker. Be like, man, this saltine cracker is the best food I ever ate in my life. Well, no. I'm not up to the point where I treat a saltine cracker as a steak dinner. Nah. When I want a steak dinner, I want a steak dinner. I want prime rib. And PlayStation is doing more of a fine job. In fact, they're serving me too much prime rib. There's too much steak dinner at the table. Way too many steak. We're getting overfed. You know, we got the filet mignon here. We got the ribeye, bone-in ribeye, prime rib. Like, whoa, Sony. Whoa. So I don't need Cyberpunk. I'm good. I could wait it out. Trust me. But you're not getting more than $20 for partial contact. That's some crazy shit right there. You know. But again, I'm not knocking for the people that's still playing it. That would be hypocritical of me. I love Fallout, even with all the bugs. What bothers me is how CD Projekt Red went around doing it. You know? They were very deceitful in how they advertised the game, and I ain't supporting that. So, if Cyberpunk wants my money, give it the way I want. And they're going to do it. I know they're going to do it. So, in the meantime, I'll hold out. I ain't got no worries. All right? But with that, I truly enjoyed talking to you guys. But guess what? I talked long enough. It's time to play these games. You know? I'm trying to practice in 2K because eventually I'm going to be playing my nephew. And I can't lose to my nephew. That shit ain't happening. I don't care how old I am. I'm not losing to my nephew. And I'm going to play some Demon Souls. And we're going to kick it. But to everybody else, I wish you guys a great weekend. Soon Christmas is coming. Have a safe Christmas. All right? Everybody knows COVID is going up. Take it serious. Protect your family. Protect yourself. Wear your goddamn mask. Don't, go to the places that you need to go. Don't be these weirdos, licking poles and shit just to prove COVID don't exist. Don't be that dude, right? Stay safe, protect your friends, protect your family. Hit the like button on the way out, please. Simple, just hit a button, and then you keep it moving. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. I will hopefully see you Monday with the crew. We're optimists. We're all day with J-Dub. But until then, wepa, I'm out of here. This is your only friend in these YouTube streets, providing that education. Can I get a Lockhart, please? Man, ain't nobody want no goddamn Lockhart. Peace out. You guys take care. Peace.